Hello everyone. Today, we'll be seeing how fast Ninetales can beat Pokemon Yellow in a solo run challenge. Let's get straight into the video. Earlier in the week on a live stream, we played through Pokemon Yellow with Arcanine, and Arcanine was really not the best fire type I've ever played. When you combine the slow level up group with the fact that it has to rely on Fire Blast for damage, you can only really expect so much for it, but after doing 2 playthroughs, I got a pretty respectable time. Today though, I think we're going to be playing some that's going to be far superior, Ninetales. And if you want to know why, we need to go over the stats. We have 73 HP, 76 attack, 75 defense, 100 special, and 100 speed. And unlike Arcanine in the slow level up group, we are in the medium fast level up group. So we're going to be leveling up a lot quicker, which might actually help us a lot. Plus, one of the problems Arcanine had was it had a lower than normal speed stat. Ninetales isn't going to really have to worry about that. And if you're wondering, yes, they both have the same special stat of 100. And since Ninetales is a stone evolution, our 4 level 1 moves are all we start with: Ember, Quick Attack, Roar, and Tail Whip. At least Ember is going to give us a good solution for the early bug catchers, as well as against Brock, because Brock's entire team may as well be weak to special moves. In taking a quick look at the TMs, we actually get the very same TMs that Arcanine ended up using. Not all of them, but most of them. For example, they both get Body Slam and Double Edge, and they both get Dig and Fire Blast as well. The main difference here is that Ninetales doesn't get Dragon Rage, but why would we want that? I think if we just combine getting Fire Blast as early as possible, in addition to getting Body Slam and potentially Double Edge if needed, this Pokemon can get a very good time. And even though I just mentioned I did 2 playthroughs with Arcanine, Ninetales I only did 1, because Ninetales was a lot better to play than Arcanine. Inside the Viridian Forest, I do take out all of the bug catchers just because I have Ember. It's going to be very quick experience. I knock out any Caterpies and Metapods I find as well. And on my way to the final mandatory bug catcher, I do find myself a Pidgey. I bought 1 Pokeball from the Viridian City Mart just to catch this thing. I know a lot of other people who do Pokemon Yellow solo runs will try and tell you that catching Doduo is far more efficient, and I do sorta agree with them, but since I don't do what some of them do and modify the wild encounters to where up until I get Repels there are no wild encounters, I feel like if you're forced to encounter stuff, you're gonna find a Pidgey anyway. So I'm just gonna get the Pidgey. But anyway, that's neither here or there. Let's go take on the first gym leader, Brock. Brock leads off with a level 10 Geodude. This thing only has Tackle in Pokemon Yellow, so it is gonna hit me with some damage, but it's not really gonna matter. The Onix though is gonna be a simple 4-shot, and even if it uses Bide, I'll be fine. Although it doesn't end up using it, and thankfully Bind never makes contact, so I can defeat Brock for a very easy first gym badge. With Brock defeated, the Route 3 and Mount Moon trainers are pretty easy as well, and I also do pick up a rare candy in here as well. And some red and blue muscle memory did activate, and I did pick up the escape rope. You actually don't want to pick this up in yellow version, because in red and blue you can actually use the escape rope to get out of Bill's house. That was patched in yellow. Sadly, we cannot learn Mega Punch, which makes sense, we have no arms. But then again, Wooper can learn Ice Punch. But the main thing is, we're just going to have to rely on Ember as our best move for a while. So as soon as we get to Cerulean City, we gotta ask ourselves the age-old question. Should we fight Misty or Rival 2 first? I don't even think this is worth asking, we're just going to fight Rival 2. Rival 2 in yellow is honestly worse than in red and blue because a Spearow is a lot less threatening than a Pidgeotto. Because you see here, the Spearow was a 1-shot. Pidgeotto would have been around a 2 or 3 shot, and it would have gotten off a Sand Attack. But that's fine though, I defeat the Rival pretty easily. And since the Rival was that easy, the Route 24-25 Gauntlet is also very easy. And at the very end of this gauntlet, I can defeat the Innocent Bystander and get the TM for Dig. This is going to be my main key to defeating Misty. I did potentially think of doing Bide strats because our special stat's pretty decent, but I don't think that's going to be a reliable strat for this thing, so let's try the Dig strategy. Misty leads off with Staryu. I am level 23 going into this fight because of the medium fast group, so I will outspeed the Starmie. Arcanine had to do some rare candying to outspeed. But you know what, it's fine though. I can actually just go ahead and 3-shot the Starmie. And thankfully, even though it is a 3-shot, I do have Quick Attack just in case I need to do a tiny bit of chip damage. But it's not like I need the priority, I already outspeeded. Inside of Vermilion City, we can board the SS Sand and pick up a very useful TM, Body Slam. This will essentially be one of our backup physical moves. I know Dig has more power than Body Slam. Dig is 100 in Generation 1 versus Body Slam's 85, but the chance of paralysis with Body Slam is also going to be great. And besides, we need a move for flying types, and Ember is just so weak. And if you thought the rival fight on Route 24 was bad, the one here is even worse. It's literally the exact same team, just 2 extra levels, and the moves are pretty much the same as well. But with this guy beaten, I can get to level 25, have 66 speed, and I will be able to outspeed Surge's Raichu. I'm not even going to play an intro here. Since I outspeed, I can just use Dig to almost one-shot. Well then, it's fine though, I got Quick Attack to do a little bit of chip damage. Man, it's so annoying that I am finding uses for Quick Attack, but the priority doesn't even help me. It's kind of funny. As soon as I defeat Surge and get the bike voucher, I'm going to talk to Officer Jenny here and get myself the Squirtle. There are 2 different Surf Strength users you could get in this game, Squirtle and Lapras. I only ever get Squirtle if I need to defeat Blaine before Rival 5, because with having the Squirtle in your party, it does slightly mess up your movement for using Cut on the Charmander because it puts it in the 3rd slot out of 4, instead the 3rd slot out of 3, so you can't just hit up once on the D-pad to get to the bottom, you have to press up an extra time, which is very annoying. But since I need Fire Blast for Rival 5, I'm gonna have to just deal with this. And speaking of deal with this, Ninetales absolutely deals with the Rock Tunnel Gauntlet. Nothing here provides any problems, not even the one with a Cubone. This guy has good AI as well, so he'll almost always go for Bone Club. And with the gauntlet cleared out, we can make our way to Celadon City. I choose not to go into the Rocket Hideout to get a rare candy or potentially other high money items or Double Edge. I'm just going to go straight to the department store. I'm going to go ahead and teach Body Slam in the place of Quick Attack just before I do my shopping so I don't accidentally sell it. I'm going to be getting a bunch of TMs to sell for money to get a couple of vitamins. And today's vitamin of the day is 3 calcium. We need all the special we can get, especially since we're relying on Fire Blast. Our attack is too low for protein to really mean anything, and we have more than enough speed. You can tell because we have a 19.53% chance to crit in Generation 1. That's what happens when you have 100 speed. As soon as we get Fly, we'll need to go to Lavender Town and defeat the rival again, but here's a little pro tip. Do not use Body Slam on Fearow. There's always the chance it can mirror move Body Slam and paralyze you. It won't always happen, but it may happen. It'd be a better idea to spam Ember since Ninetales is immune to burn anyway. And with access to Dig as well, I don't have to worry about any of the Ghastly trainers in this tower as well. And after I send the Marowak to hell for keeping Dr. Fuji hostage, I can rescue Fuji and get myself the Pokeflute. So now with this item, the world is my cloister. I could go take on Erica right away, I could go into Saffron and enter Sylph, or go down to Fuchsia City and potentially fight Koga. No matter what though, I do want to fight Koga before getting access to Blaine for Fire Blast, and there's no way I can beat the rival without Fire Blast because of that forsaken cloister. And due to the rival's good AI, he'll always go for Clamp, which is obviously a huge disappointment. So today, I actually decided to go do Erica's gym first. I'm going to essentially fight all of the trainers here. I know half of the people here do not give great experience yields, but it's all going to be very quick one-shots. I don't think it's that big of a deal. And with the trainers defeated, let's go take on Erica. She leads off with Tangela. It's going to be a 2-shot with Ember. Next up is the Weepin' Bell. Fortunately, due to her good AI, she will not go for Razor Leaf, Sleep Powder, or Stun Spore. Her Pokemon will only go for Acid, which is great though because I don't have to worry about sleep strats. Next up, I'm actually going to be doing something a little different. I'm not sure you guys have seen me doing this before unless you've watched some of the live streams. I'm actually going to go directly to Cycling Road, fight the bikers that have Weezings and Mucks, and I will take a couple of steps into Fuchsia and immediately fly back to Celadon. This is a strat you only ever want to do in Yellow version because the Safari Zone in Pokemon Yellow have very high levels, and depending on some Pokemon, you're not going to be a high enough level to avoid the encounters. So I'm actually just going to get this place on the map before I go do training in Sylph. Plus that way, I'll have done some biker training before I go to Sylph to do more training. And with the huge level jumps that Pokemon Yellow has, a lot of Pokemon are going to want to fight some trainers in here. And I pretty much know where all the good trainers are. It's essentially just 70% of this tower. There's a same path I always take. If you want to know the exact path, just go watch my Arcanine livestream. I fought those same people. And as soon as I defeat all of the good trainers in Sylph, I can fly back to Fuchsia at level 42. Now I can enter the Safari Zone encounter free, get myself the Gold Teeth and the Surf HM. Before I can use Surf though, I'm going to need to defeat Koga. But that's fine though, Ember should be a guaranteed 2-shot on his Venonats and probably 3-shot the Venomoth. I could go Body Slam on it if I want to for the paralysis, but I have 112 speed going into this fight at least, so I don't really think it's worth it at all. Let's go take him on. Koga leads off with his first Venonat. Due to the good AI, his Pokemon will never go for Sleep Powder, which is arguably his most terrifying move. The second one's a critical hit. Then the Venonat is going to be a 2-shot. Thankfully it missed Psychic, but it did hit me with Toxic. That's kind of annoying. Then the Venomoth's going to be a simple 3-shot with Ember, and all it does is go for Psychic and X attack. Thankfully, because of our high special stat, I can shake it off pretty easily, defeat Koga, and get myself the 5th gym badge. And with access to Surf, I can go on a brisk swim down to Cinnabar Island, brought to you by Gym Leader Matt of course, and then we can go ahead and just take on Blaine. Having access to Dig and Body Slam should make him relatively easy, and defeating him will yield our most powerful attack, Fire Blast. Blaine leads off with his Ninetales. His whole team has random AI, so he could literally go for anything. It'll be a simple 2-shot with Dig and I don't get confused. Next up is the Rapidash. It misses a takedown, then it hits me with one as soon as I get back up. Last up is the Arcanine. It could go for Reflect, being very annoying, but thankfully it doesn't do that and I can get the nice and clean 2-shot. And with access to Blaine being defeated, we will now get Fire Blast. I'm going to go ahead and immediately teach this move in the place of Ember, and use my 2 PP ups on this move to have 7 PP. And check this out guys, look how great Fire Blast makes this Rival 5 fight. Sandslash, 1-shot. Cloyster, 1-shot. Magneton, I'm going to use Dig on it to be safe. Then I could use Dig again on the Kadabra, and then Dig on the Flareon. If I did not have Fire Blast and had to rely on Ember or Body Slam for that Cloyster, you can be rest assured I am gonna frickin' die. So that's why I needed to fight Blaine first, and be over leveled. But with the rival being very easy, Sabrina is also going to be very easy. If you can outspeed her entire team and 1-shot the first 2 Pokemon and 2-shot the Alakazam, you're generally pretty fine. Plus Sabrina in this game has random AI, so she's not really that consistent. And I didn't even bother playing an intro just because the fight is pretty easy. I'm trying to do something new for my videos in 2026. I'm going to stop playing intros for fights that end up being extremely easy and to avoid video bloat. It was a suggestion originally for the Moon runs, but I think I'll apply it to the other games as well. I'll only do intros for the interesting fights. But either way, with Sabrina defeated, we have to take on Giovanni as our final gym. This is going to be a notable fight. I will play an intro here. I made a grave mistake going into this fight originally. I was supposed to teach Mimic in the place of Bide, but I forgot, so the Nidoqueen actually kills me with Earthquake. Oh well, not a big deal. That was my first reset, but knowing how fire types fare in the league, I'm gonna get a reset anyway at some point. But anyway, the reason I need access to Mimic is because on the Persian, I'm actually going to Mimic Double Team. I allow using Double Team through this method, I just ban the TM for it. If I get it by level up or through Mimic or Metronome or something like that, I will allow it. And with access to +6, not only will I avoid most of the hits, it'll also badge boost my stats, but it ended up being pretty short-lived because I get a mid-battle level up. That's pretty annoying, but at least I still have the double teams up. I just gotta hope I get lucky. And thankfully, on the second try, I do get lucky. Giovanni just uses a guard spec on his Rhydon. Just before we get to the league, we gotta take on the rival one last time, but it's essentially a copy and paste of Rival 5. The Sandslash is a one-shot, Execute's a one-shot, Cloyster's a one-shot, I use Dig on the Magneton, Kadabra, and the Flareon. Literally just a copy and paste. And if you're wondering why I said earlier that fire types have it very bad in the league, it's because Lorelei exists and Lance's Gyarados exists, plus the champion's Cloyster. They are going to be massive hurdles for fire types to overcome, but I am very confident in Ninetales' ability to do so. So why don't we heal up, buy some full restores, and take on the final 5 trainers. Let's do this shit. Lorelei leads off with Dewgong. I used most of my candies to get to level 63 for this fight. I'm actually going to use Dig turn 1 to exploit her AI quirk that makes her very likely to use Rest on turn 2. I can get past it scot-free. Then I can actually one-shot the Cloyster thanks to my higher special and being level 63. And I can mimic Amnesia from the Slowbro, set up to +6, and then defeat the rest of her team with Fire Blast. Next up is the Fighting type Elite Four member, the Hiker. The main reason I'm playing an intro here is because I want to play intros for the Elite Four anyway, plus I do also kinda play this fight pretty freaking bad. I should have used an elixir to get a bunch of Fire Blast back because Fire Blast is a guaranteed one-shot on his first 4 Pokemon, but I came into the fight with only 2, and I had to mimic Ice Punch, and I just end up using the wrong moves on all the wrong Pokemon, and things ended up just being pretty bad, but thankfully this guy is kind of an idiot. Next up is the Ghost type Elite Four member, Agatha. Whenever you play a Pokemon that has access to the move Dig, and you combine it with the Haunter line having low defense compared to its special, things here just end up being very easy, especially since I literally have 200 speed at this point. It's kind of insane how fast this thing is. Next up is the Dragon type Elite Four member, Lance. This is the second hurdle that fire types have to overcome. Lance leads off with his ultimate beast, Gyarados. His good AI will always go for Hydro Pump. My plan here is that I can survive 1 Hydro Pump, but not 2. My whole gimmick here is I'm just going to spam Body Slam, hope for paralysis, or hope for a miss, or hope for crits. This is going to take a few resets, obviously, and because of that, the first attempt is a failure. Things end up getting really lucky though, because on the literal second attempt at this fight, I get the luck I need on the Gyarados, defeat the first Dragonair, mimic Ice Beam off the second, and use my high special to one-shot the rest of his Pokemon. And with that lucky Lance split out of the way, we've got to go take on the champion as the final hurdle of Pokemon Yellow. Let's do this. The champion leads off with Sandslash. I outspeed in one shot with Fire Blast. Next up is the Alakazam. I go for Dig, and it almost one-shots. I'm pretty sure that's a range. I wasn't recording a root file at the time with the XP router, so I can't really bring up ranges right now, but it looked like a range. But the Exeggutor is a one-shot with Fire Blast. And then Magneton, I'm going to use Dig. It hits me underground with Swift, and I actually get a Generation 1 miss, and I get hit with Thunder Wave. This is a potential spot where I could set up the Dig Paralysis glitch, where if I get paralyzed underground, I become invincible, but things don't end up working that good, and I get myself a reset. When I get back to the Magneton, I don't get a Generation 1 miss and one shot with a crit. Then on the Cloyster, I miss Fire Blast, but due to my high special, 2 clamps does less than half. I level up to level 67. The Flareon can only go for quick attack and reflect due to the good AI. I can use 2 fire blasts and clock in with a real time of 48 minutes on the dot, with 3 resets, 0 blackouts at level 67, with a game time at the Hall of Fame of 3 hours and 4 minutes. You can probably see why this video is a lot quicker than normal, even for a yellow video. This Pokemon is just downright incredible. Granted, one of the resets was my fault, the one at Giovanni where I forgot to teach Mimic, but the one reset I had to Lance and the Champion were not my fault at all. This is kinda why I only did one playthrough. I played this run essentially close to perfect. Maybe you could potentially argue that I could have skipped some rare candies or skipped some training, but I don't know. That Alakazam being a range and allowing it to possibly hit me with a powerful Psychic or Kinesis, I don't know. But that's for someone else if they want to play better than me. But if we take a quick look at the leaderboard, with our final time of 48 minutes on the dot, we actually managed to secure a spot in the top 10. We've officially knocked Seadra out of the top 10. It did get a faster time than Cloyster by over 4 minutes, but it did worse than Hitmonlee, Dewgong, and Poliwrath. Poliwrath is an inconsistent run in general because there's a few fights you really gotta rely on Hypnosis. And the main problem with Dewgong is that it just has a very limited move pool, and Hitmonlee is just Braille. But I'm sure if we played a bit better with our resets, this could potentially get sub 47, but I really don't want to bother doing that. And still, our main first place fire type is Charizard. That is literally because it gets Swords Dance and it's in the medium slow level up group. It really did not have to worry about levels at all. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. And be sure to follow me on my socials or support the channel through YouTube memberships. YouTube members get access to the patch files for all the backport Pokemon we do on stream, including all the Mega Evolutions, as well as access to members-only videos such as unedited runs or re-rank playthroughs I do in my Discord server. Next week, though, is going to be Pokemon Platinum Week, where we're going to be doing a stream with Starly and a video with Bidoof. You may be wondering why I'm doing first stage Route 201 Pokemon. I decided, you know what, I think doing Mime Jr. and Bonsly during Daily December wasn't a challenge enough. I need to make it even worse for myself. But I hope to see you all there, and I'll see you all in the next video.